Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Tanella, Chair of the National Veterinary Law Group, Mandelbaum Barrett, and I'm joined today with Dr. Kendra Pope. Dr. Pope, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Happy to be here with you.
So, Kendra, I understand that you are celebrating your almost 1 year anniversary at your new office space. Is that true?
Yeah, we moved into the new office space. Let's see, the beginning of this month, it was 1 year and 6 years in the business.
Right. So, what would you consider some of the key components for your practice's growth?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think that I'm really lucky because there's not a lot of competition. The kind of area that we practice in is really niched. And so we draw from people kind of all over.
Hmm.
So I think the niche for us of, integrative oncology, integrative medicine is a huge proponent of why we've grown so fast over the past 6 years. I think the other reason for my specific business is because it's just such a different, novel experience. When you come into my office, it smells different, it looks different, it sounds different. It's all about creating this really healing space. And I think people really love that and enjoy it. And so most of our referrals come from word of mouth from our clients.
That's great, and you hit on it. And you really practice on in a real subspecialty of veterinary medicine with
Yeah.
regard to oncology and then a holistic medicine. What led you to that?
Oh yeah. It's like, I love telling this story. It doesn't matter how many people ask me. I love to tell it because I just really feel like it was a lot of divine intervention, and I feel really grateful that I'm on the path that I feel like I'm meant to be and the difference that I'm supposed to be making. I fell into oncology for a personal reason. I lost my father at a young age to stage 4 cancer. And so I knew that that was the place that I really needed to make a difference, in this, world. But the holistic part came later when I was in veterinary school and I was trying to manage chest pains I was getting from the stress of medical school. And I fell down the rabbit hole of acupuncture through a lab that was going on at at the veterinary school, and it worked. And as long as I kept going, the chest pain stayed away. And it just was this like eye-opening experience of, wow, I wonder what else is out there. And so, along with realizing how beautifully it marries for those oncology patients and those chronic disease patients, it's just been this really awesome journey of like looking behind the curtain and realizing how much more there is there.
In veterinary medicine continues to evolve on a
Yeah.
regular basis now, more so than ever. So, what are you seeing in like your area? One, and then two, a new associate coming out of veterinary school. What would you, if you can look at them, what would your recommendation? What would your advice be to them?
Yeah, it has. And, I've been out of vet school less than 15 years, I
Mhm.
guess, like, let's see, like 12 now. And it's already changed so much since I graduated, especially post pandemic. I mean, now, the stuff that you see the biggest are all about artificial intelligence, all about tele-advice, telehealth, all this remote support. So, I mean, that's just been so different from when I started. And really, it's based out of a need. You can't get into the veterinarians like you used to be able to. Um, and then as far as what to tell the newcomers, they're really graduating with different experiences. My understanding is that a lot of the professors have left many of the veterinary schools,
Mhm.
and a lot of their training is really based in this more like clinical outsourcing. The veterinary schools have these relationships with these different practitioners in the communities, and they outsource their students to learn from them. And so, I did that in vet school for large animal because we didn't have as large of a caseload as the local practitioners did. But that really changes your education. So I would say, really find a postgraduate training program that you feel confident will give you all the fundamentals that you need, because I think the education is changing for them.
Yeah, it's very true. It's education's changing. The shortage of veterinarians. As you pointed out, even in the schools, a shortage of professors. It is a really interesting time right now in the industry. Everybody makes mistakes along their journey. Hindsight's 2020. If you look back at your younger self and you're looking into the future, is there anything that you would do differently?
I've just never been one that has regrets. And I think that's because I take so long to make decisions. Like my brother is the complete opposite of me. He is like spontaneous Sam. Like he just does and figures it out later. And I like it makes me cringe because I painstakingly consider all the options before I make a decision. So I feel like I try not to ever have regrets about anything. If I would do anything differently, something that's been really challenging for me with owning the business is it takes a really long time to get the right team in place. And I think that I always thought that it should happen right away. And so I guess what I would do differently is like to cause less stress and to have more ease is to just understand that like that's all part of the process. Like the people who are with you at one point in your life aren't necessarily going to be the people that are with you at another part because we're all on our own journeys. And so I think maybe in an effort to have a more peaceful life, it would have been better if I could have just like rode that wave and understood that, it's really like for all of us, for me, for my associates, for my staff, for my clients, for my patients, we're all like here on our own separate journeys. And sometimes that means we're together and sometimes it's not. And that's okay too.
Right. I got to meet your brother. I am that guy. If something comes up, I was like, I'm going to do it. Okay, let's do it. I don't want to
Yeah.
wait because then it's on my mind. Just want to get it, get it done. My wife, she's the best. She's tomorrow. It's the next day. She gives a lot more thought than I do. I'm just like, let's go do it.
It's a good balance. His soon to be wife is like that too. So I'm like, yeah, you can rein him in. It's not my responsibility anymore.
What does the future hold for you? What for Dr. Pope, for your practice? What do you see?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. I love to think about that. We are in the middle of some changes because it's really time for our practice and my personal mission to kind of shift into the education and ambassadorship, stage. I've always really wanted to make and to leave a legacy in changing integrative medicine and integrative oncology in my profession. That is one of my driving goals. And so, although I've been really grateful to build this beautiful business, it's time to kind of pivot into teaching new veterinarians, teaching pet parents, just having more education. And so, it's starting this fall. I am starting a 6-month mastermind for veterinarians. We're going to be teaching really just like the depth and the breadth of what we do in my practice so that they can start helping more patients. And then in the springtime, we hope to do something similar with the pet parents. So, it's about just ambassadorship and like bringing to the surface and to the attention to people who never knew about these modalities, what they really can do, and helping to validate that with scientific research. So the future is about education. The future is about clinical research. The future, once we get our nonprofit, is about focusing on, making that happen with our nonprofit. So it's exciting. It's a super exciting time right now.
Plus running a practice. So with all that being said, what do you do outside of, being a doctor, being a teacher, being a leader? What do you do for fun?
I used to have the worst answer to that, and I didn't have a lot, and I really didn't like that. And I have made so many efforts over the last few years to change that. And I'm really proud of my answer. I'm going to tell you a bunch of things.
Let me hear it.
So I became a horse mom about 4 or 5 months ago. I own a horse now.
Congratulations.
And so I spent a lot of time. Thank you. So I spent a lot of time at the barn learning about all new things equestrian, which has been a huge learning curve, but a lot of fun. I started learning tennis a year ago. So I'm a novel tennis player.
Awesome.
I love yoga. I love travel. I am going to start learning a new language. There's a piano sitting behind me. I'm going to pick back up the piano. So there's just a lot of other things that I really like to fill my life with because I just I want abundance in all aspects of my life. And it's just like what makes me feel safe, is to have lots of beautiful things around me and everything. So I jam it all in there.
I can see it both professionally and personally.
Yeah, exactly.
Kendra, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I enjoy working with you on a professional level, and thank you for taking some time and sharing your story with us.
Oh, so happy to. Thank you.